Everyone has played video games at some point these days, and video games are fun, says PewDiePie, a famous YouTuber. Game addiction is becoming more common these days and could end up being a very serious disease. I've been playing video games for years, and I have seen what it's done to people, and I would consider myself to also be a little addicted too. Our world today is getting more and more addictions, and video games are no exception to this problem. And then I'm going to talk about the causes of game addiction, the problems of game addiction, and how to prevent these problems. To start, I'm going to discuss the problem that video games have on people. So, according to www.arkasushi.com and www.techaddiction.com or .ca, young people are becoming more and more addicted to video games. Some people spend hours on end playing video games, which can help them become addicted. One franchise in particular, as you see up here, Call of Duty. Call of Duty is just one franchise, people. So before I tell you this, it's one franchise. Doesn't include all the games, just one. Call of Duty has been played for 25 billion hours. Now you might wonder how that is. If you stack every individual player's gameplay time onto one another, you get 25 billion hours. That's 2.85 million years, longer than we've even been alive. Now, to break it down even more, we play 2,000 years of Call of Duty in a single day. Now, if that's not enough, 18 billion multiplayer matches have also been played in just this one franchise alone. Now, developers and game designers try and make their games as diverse and indulging as they possibly can. The average game takes approximately 17 hours to beat. Now, that might not sound like much, but say you buy 5 games in a week, that's 85 hours. That's a full-time job. Now, games are designed to be just as difficult, if not enough, to be truly challenging, while allowing players to achieve small accomplishments that compel them to keep playing in that respect. The design of video games is similar to the design of a gambling casino, which allows players small wins to keep them playing. And then there are several hooks that are built into the games with the intent of making them very addictive. Now, since I diagnosed the problem, I'm going to find the causes. According to www.videogameaddiction.org, some causes of gaming addiction are pretty straightforward, but others are not. One of the main causes of gaming addiction would have to be multiplayer. Multiplayer games were created using the internet. The reason this is one of the main causes of addiction is because of the multiplayer universe has no end to the amount of time you can actually play. Now, referring back to Call of Duty, prestige emblems are a perfect example of this. Now, everyone knows, or some people might not, but the last prestige emblem would be that, and those. But those look a lot better than the first prestige emblem, right? The very first one that they show. Well, that's to celebrate how far you've made it and to show off to the other players, which can also encourage players to want to play more. Some of these can actually take a long time to do. I can vouch for it. The 10th prestige emblem does take a very long time to get. Now, another thing I'd like to talk about are technological advances. Now, graphics. If you look back at the very first Mario game that was ever invented, it doesn't look that great. It doesn't really look appealing to the eye. But then you look at the Uncharted, Far Cry, or Forza, or Grand Theft Auto series, and you look at their graphics, you can't tell the difference between a movie and the video game. Now, another thing would be the PlayStation virtual reality headset. There's already been 2 before it, but this one is the cheaper, more affordable version. This allows players to be able to be in the world of the video game. Like, remember that scary game you were playing and that monster was chasing you and you would go to look around the corner but you can't, so you have to go around the corner, so if it's there it gets you? Well, in this, you can now just peek around the corner instead of actually getting attacked by the monster that was chasing you. Another thing you can do is you can take a pencil, you can throw it across the room, and I can watch it from here all the way over there perfectly. No interruptions. Now, if that's not going to get you addicted, I don't know what will. Now that I have diagnosed the causes and the problems to game addiction, let's find some solutions. According to teens.drugabuse.gov and www.wikihow.com, since game addiction is a real thing, there is also a solution to prevent it. This is all determined by how we use the video game system. Limit yourself. Time limits are key for this. If you not take a 2-hour time limit, it's not going to be good. Another way you can do this is by also playing sports. Sports, as some people know, it takes up a lot of your time. So by the time you actually do get to play the video game, you will not have enough time to actually enjoy and play it for hours and hours on end, because then you'll get tired. This is actually one of the proven methods that prevents people from becoming addicted, because it's proven you can play video games for 14 hours, but as long as you're playing sports with it, you won't become addicted to that video game. Another way people can prevent playing video games, or people can prevent becoming addicted to video games, is the use of other games. Now I know this might sound like a contradiction, but I promise you it's not. It's actually statistically proven true. 68% of people who play puzzle or educational type games don't become addicted. Now I know you've all reached that one puzzle you just can't figure out, and you give up on it, right? And you say, I'll come back to it later. That's right there. My point's already proven. Other types of games that people can play are games with an ending. If we go back 2 slides real quick, Crash. Everybody, not everybody, but most people know who Crash is. The games were really, really fun, but once you beat them, there really wasn't much else to do besides go back and replay all of the levels over again, but if you already know what happens, it's not really worth playing. Another game would be Driver San Francisco. I don't have it up here, but that's another game where once you beat it, it's over. There's nothing else. It's boring. Now, that we know the problem, causes, and the solution, I can now end this speech. In the world we live in nowadays, more and more people are becoming addicted to the growing universe of video games. But that doesn't mean we just let it happen. We have to stop it. Did you all even know game addiction was a real thing? Maybe, maybe not. Well, to close, I would just like to say, gaming addiction is not to be taken lightly, and we need to stop this. And then, are we good on time? Yeah, we can play that video real quick. You'll have to exit out of this and then you can copy it. He's a beast. Control C, just Control C, and then you know we can do Control V. Oh God. Well, I just thought this was kind of a cool little video because it pretty much they state exactly what I was talking about. Just skip it. Just the first 30 seconds.
The sound is off in the bottom.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Video games have come a long way since the creation of all living